we go to Larry Sparano. Hey there. How are you?
Hello, Kent. Can you guess what I'm going to say?
No, what are you going to
All
say?
right. Another Trump critic practically foaming at the mouth. Trump, bad, bad, bad. Trump blamed for him for everything. Now, this is what actually happened, Kent. China was not forthcoming early on with their data and how they were testing and all that. They were withholding that. As you remember, they rebuffed the U.S.'s request to go to China and assess the situation themselves. And then what happened was, the bloated federal bureaucracies, which isn't just under Trump, it's been an ongoing problem that all presidents have been frustrated with. The CDC, it was headed by by Dr. Robert Redfield. They tightly restricted testing and the test kits. They had to pass certain tests, certain standards, this and that. There were a number of different agencies working on different testing protocols, and the CDC was holding it up. In the meantime, the head of the Health and Human Services Department, Alex Azar, was told, and this is according to the esteemed New York Times, which is no friend of Trump's. According to the New York Times, Mr. Azar's allies said he was told by Dr. Redfield, the head of the CDC, and Dr. Fauci that the CDC had the resources it needed, that there was no reason to believe that the virus was spreading through the country from person to person, and that it was very important only to test people who met certain criteria. So that's what the holdup was. Now, Trump is taking credit, as politicians do, and it is a very late start. But, it was a combination of factors that caused that late start. And don't forget, Dr. Fauci in other statements was minimizing it early on. So whether you could blame Trump for not being smart enough to see
Yeah, but
through.
I think he lost. From what I've been reading, he lost 2 months. There were 2 months lost when we could have been, in fact, testing people, and he really did. He could have used the Defense Production Act.
No,
He didn't
no.
do that.
Look, I just explained why we lost 2 months with the testing. It was held up by the CDC. The CDC was assuring Health and Human Services that they had certain restrictions were necessary, blah, 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 to get accurate results. That was the delay. Now, the Defense Production Act, I agree. It should have been enacted sooner.
Right,
I
right.
agree on that. But, I mean, the whole holdup with the testing, this is what happened. You can't lay this solely on Trump's shoulders once again. Yeah, everybody's quick to, Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump is the head of a vast federal bureaucracy, depending on different officials to give them advice to regulate things. These agencies are overregulated. Sometimes it's
But,
necessary for public safety, but other
but I,
times it's a
yeah.
hindrance.
But I mean, I think shouldn't the buck stop with Trump? I mean,
You could
isn't
say,
that
yeah,
a
but look,
reasonable position?
no, I don't think it is, because nobody saw
Why?
this coming. Trump was being assured by his experts, including Dr. Fauci, that there wasn't any big deal. So, and then he was distracted by impeachment, all that. Now, he shouldn't have been distracted. But what I'm saying is, the alarm wasn't raised until late. And also, now I was originally a critic when of Trump's appointment of Pence as head of Health and Human Services, replacing
Right,
Ajar, because I figured,
right,
what does Pence know about? The reason why Trump did that, in effect, created a czar, is to cut through
right,
all the red tape, the regulations, all that baloney, and that's when they started testing vigorously. Now,
right,
Obama
right,
had a similar
right.
problem in 2015 with the Ebola outbreak. Same damn thing with federal regulations. Nobody knew who's on first. One hand didn't know what the other was doing. He appointed a czar back then, and that's when they started speeding up the efforts to control Ebola. So, all presidents have dealt with this. Now,
Right,
again,
right,
Trump's a lot of things. I'm no fan of his. I keep telling you that. I'm no
right,
fan of his. I mean, I don't think he's the right guy. But what I'm saying is, at the same time, you can't exonerate all these
right,
other people that took part in this.
right. All right, sir. We'll have to leave it at that. Talk to
All
you,
right, kid.
talk to you next week.
All
Okay.
right.